Hi, I'm so glad that you've decided to learn more about C.O.R.E and your primary temperament. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to share a few really important things about the strengths and challenges of being an R. From your results, you've already learned that your primary motivation is a strong desire to get things done. R's are driven as if by a motor to resolve things. This may not come as a surprise to you, but understanding the predictable strengths and challenges that this drive creates in your life and relationships has the power to make your life run way more smoothly than it now does. I want to talk about two predictable challenges that all R's face, two strengths that can be leveraged to more effectively manage those challenges, and two specific tools to help you get more done in your life and relationships. I want to point something out that I've always gotten a kick out of from my research. One of the most predictable reactions that people have when they first receive the results of their C.O.R.E assessment is that they initially wish that they weren't whatever their primary type is. Most of us are so well acquainted with the challenging aspects of our personalities that we wish that we could be different than we are. R's are a consistent exception to this. R's are almost always glad that they are R's. I believe that there are lots of reasons why this is the case, and you'll come to understand the way that your temperament leads to that outcome as you're able to recognize the influence your temperament has on most every thought you have and action you take. Whatever the reason, I think it's great that R's are typically able to immediately recognize and be grateful for the positive aspects of their temperament. The first challenge that I would like to talk about is the difficulty R's have managing what they pay attention to. R's are naturally excellent at creating movement. Once something comes to the attention of an R or gets on their radar, the R brain immediately wants it taken care of, wants it resolved. Lost keys, TV remote, a broken sprinkler, it doesn't matter what it is. As soon as it comes to their attention, the R brain is bothered by whatever it is until it gets resolved. If they are unable to resolve it quickly, they will typically move on to something else because it drives the R crazy to sit and think about something that they can't currently do anything about. Consequently, whenever something makes it on their radar, the R's attention and energy automatically shifts and gets focused on whatever has grabbed their attention, and they aggressively squirrel after whatever it is. This tends to create some very predictable challenges for R's and for those in relationships with them. You can be doing something, an R is hardly ever not doing something, and a text or a call will come in and it's off to the races. It is almost impossible for the R brain to stay focused on something when something else appears on their screen. This can easily result in you having 15 different things that you're bouncing from one to the other on. Before you know it, you're washing the same load of laundry for the third time because it has been forgotten, again, because your attention was diverted, and then diverted again. There's a really interesting aspect of the challenge of controlling what gets on your radar that you might not overtly be aware of. Lots of the time, R's are so focused on whatever has caught their attention externally that they can be very unaware of what is going on inside. R's can be very unplugged from their emotions at times. I own a TMS clinic, which is a special and extremely effective treatment for people who haven't been able to find relief from medication and talk therapy. Over 90% of our patients reach remission from their depression. But I digress. My point was that C's and E's that I treat tend to be very in tune with what's going on inside of them and how things are affecting them. R's, on the other hand, frequently have a much harder time plugging into and recognizing what is going on inside. My father-in-law is an R, and I don't know how many times we've been cutting wood or working on something, and he'll have some big gash or cut bleeding, and he will be totally unaware of it. The second predictable challenge for the R is the result of one of my favorite strengths of the R. Most R's have no filter. Whatever comes into the R brain comes out of the R mouth. R's are quick on their feet, and you almost always know what they are thinking and feeling. Relationally, this can be really great because you don't have to guess like you do with some of the other temperaments. You'll find out in the next training that I hope you'll attend what drives the brains of other temperament types and how to interact effectively with them. But with an R, you almost always know where you stand. However, there are lots of moments when it's better to have a little more space between stimulus and response, and this becomes a very big challenge. R's frequently inadvertently hurt people's feelings, and others commonly feel run over by an R's intensity. R's can come off as insensitive and are frequently unaware that they have hurt someone's feelings. I'm guessing that you have probably noticed these challenges in your life, but you may not have known that they were part of your temperament, and that other R's experience the same things. You may also not know that since they are a result of your temperament, you can't just get rid of these challenges because that is the part of you that doesn't change. So, what can you do about these and other predictable challenges that are the results of your temperament? Well, welcome to a little deeper insight into your core. Let's talk for a few minutes about what makes C.O.R.E unique from any other assessment that you've taken. Have you sometimes been puzzled about why the things that motivate you? Why the things that pull you in, that drive you? Have you ever tried to figure out why you are passionate about totally different things than someone else? The C.O.R.E temperament model has been created to answer these, as well as many other important questions. Temperament is a huge part of the answer about what makes you unique and what is different about how your brain works compared to other people. One of the biggest challenges and most important quests in life is truly learning to understand yourself. Many, if not most of us, spend the vast majority of our lives misunderstanding and devaluing who we are and what makes us unique and special. Each one of us comes into life with an unchangeable temperament. That's right. This is one of the most important things that I really want you to understand. Research has consistently shown for decades that you cannot change your temperament. So it seems pretty important, even to ours, to understand what temperament is and what you can and what you can't change about your personality. Temperament is a set of personality traits that determines the way that we interact with and react to the world. It is the innate part within each of us that forms the underlying reasons behind why we do the things that we do and why we don't do the things we don't do. This is one of the things that you will only get here. It's what makes this model different from any other assessment out there. It's also why temperament, in many ways, is actually more helpful to understand than just personality. C.O.R.E doesn't just help you identify some interesting aspects of your personality. C.O.R.E helps you identify your temperament. By understanding that, you can focus your efforts on improving things in your life and relationships that you can actually do something about, so that you can really begin to thrive and stop beating yourself up about the things that will never change. Your temperament and resulting personality are not broken. I have developed this model to help you really be able to understand your temperament and personality and to help you understand the important people around you. The fact is that our brains work differently depending on our core temperament. Each type is literally motivated by different things. This is not a choice, and by gaining a deeper and more accurate understanding of this, you can begin to better capitalize on your strengths. You can understand that not everyone thinks, feels, and behaves the same way, or for the same reasons that you do. It's my hope that understanding your core temperament will empower you to embrace who you are, to stop wishing that you were different, and to more effectively bring you to the table in your life and relationships. As you're better able to understand the why behind the behavior, feelings, and thoughts of your loved ones and others with whom you interact, you'll also be able to connect on deeper and more meaningful levels. The hurt feelings, misunderstandings, distance, and the amount of conflict in your relationships will also decrease. There's been a lot written and discussed about the importance of understanding your why. That if you can just plug into a powerful enough why, then you can unleash your potential. My research indicates that the why is actually innately driven by your temperament. That seems to be one of the aspects of temperament that is most stable. Each temperament style is motivated by different whys. By learning about what naturally motivates you to do the things you do and how that leads to unique and important contributions that you have the ability to bring to those around you, you can stop working against yourself and begin to really embrace who you are. I believe a key part of becoming healthy and happy lies in understanding who you are, the natural strengths and challenges that come with that, then learning how to fix the unhealthy or dysfunctional beliefs and wiring that is in the way of being able to appreciate, hone, and magnify your natural strengths rather than distorting them. Exactly how to do that rewiring is something that you'll learn in our Healthy and Happy coaching program. We live in a society where certain personality traits or characteristics are promoted as the way to be, especially in a lot of the self-help literature. We're bombarded with messages communicating that there is a way to be, act, or look in order to be successful, beautiful, liked, happy. That is simply not true. There are certainly temperament types and personality traits that are better fits than others for given things. There are certain careers that line up really well with the given temperament type. But no one temperament is better than another, nor are any of them broken. If you're going to be healthy and feel good about yourself, then you've got to learn how to be a healthy you. I have a question for you. Now that we've been talking and you understand that some of the challenges that you face are related to your temperament, do you think this is helpful to know? What difference does it make? Hopefully your wheels are starting to turn. It's at least as equally as important to understand that there are powerful and predictable strengths that you uniquely possess as an R. In future trainings, we really delve into the strengths of your temperament, but here I want to talk about two that I would really like to highlight. First, as I mentioned before, R's have an incredible capacity to get things done. R's get a lot done. But for the R brain, it isn't about the finished product. It's not like they normally sit back and get a lot of satisfaction of what they've resolved or completed. When something is unresolved, it creates emotional strain for the R. It is that emotional strain that motivates or drives the R to immediately resolve whatever it is. And by addressing the issue, it resolves that emotional strain. This is why it is so difficult for the R not to attend to something once it has come to their attention. As a result, R's are almost always in motion, doing something. And it's because of this that R's are so good at creating movement and getting things done. The second R strength that I want to talk about is that what you see is what you get. R's possess the very unique and important strength that you almost always know what's going on with an R. None of the other temperaments are as transparent with their communication. My wife is an R, and I don't know how many times after telling me that something has upset her or hurt her feelings, she will say something like, "I swore I wasn't going to tell you that." Sometimes she's even able to hold out for an hour or two. I'll give you a little bonus material here also. Research shows that there are 3 things in the daily routine of a relationship that lead to trust. First, predictability. Second, balance of give and take. And third, openness. R's naturally excel at the openness that is essential to create trust in a relationship. And when there are high levels of trust, we feel safe in our relationships. Most R's don't necessarily recognize that their lack of filter is actually part of their temperament and can be really helpful in a relationship. Now that we've talked about a couple of the challenges that you are likely dealing with as an R and a couple of your unique strengths, I want to give you a hack or two for the predictable challenges that we've talked about. I also want to show you how some of your strengths can be utilized to effectively manage these very same challenges. Once something has your focus, you are great at accomplishing whatever it is. So let's start by overtly managing what has the ability to grab your attention. I want to give you this simple worksheet to help you do this. I want you to write down either the top 3 things or times of day when things hijack your attention. For example, it might be texting or the phone ringing. It might be getting on the internet, or your kids coming in while you're working, or trying to work when you're with your kids. It might be when everyone comes home from school or work. Okay, now I want you to write down one thing that you will do for each of the predictable intruders you identified. For example, if texts are a culprit, which they are for most R's, you might have your phone on silent all the time so that you're in control of when you tend to text or calls. You could set an alarm to go off every 50 minutes or at 2 o'clock or whenever to look at your texts and calls. You can put your spouse, kids, or whoever else on bypass so that you don't miss crucial communication. You can also identify when you absolutely want to be available for the important people in your life. As an R, being on the computer or phone during crucial interactional times, like when your kids or your spouse or partner or you get home, is a recipe for relational disaster. Whatever an R is focused on gets all of an R's attention for however long you're focused on that thing. Anyone and anything that tries to interrupt will feel like an intrusion and a nuisance. While you can't eradicate this tendency from your life, practicing proactively managing what has the ability and when it has that ability to get on your radar will literally transform your life and your relationships. I want to give you a couple of tools to help you manage the tendency to have whatever comes into your head come right out of your mouth. First, by far the most effective tool is also the hardest for most R's. Those around you will almost always be more aware of how you are coming across than you will be. So, utilizing a partnership to help you with this is a game changer. I strongly suggest that you find someone you feel comfortable with and ask them to let you know when you're bulldozing or coming across harshly. It's a great idea to identify a key word. It doesn't matter what it is. You both just need to agree on what the word is and what it means. It could be red, or Betsy, or toad, or whatever else. When they say the key word, you need to commit to stop. No matter what's going on, walk out of the room if you need to. Another tool that you can use is to set an alarm to go off 3 to 4 times a day. And take a second to write down how you are feeling from 0 to 10. This will help you practice becoming more aware of what's going on inside of you. You can also use this little bonus sheet to help you practice this. You cannot change the tendency you have as an R for these or several other predictable challenges that arise from your R-ness. Each and every temperament has things that very naturally align with what is healthy and things that are naturally incongruent with what healthy is. You cannot just say, oh well, I can't do that because of my temperament. If you want healthy outcomes, you have to do the things that produce those outcomes, regardless of whether or not they align well with your temperament. So, when the way that your brain naturally works is in the way of something that you need to do in order to be healthy and happy, you can use a skill, a process, or a partnership to help you do the healthy thing that doesn't come naturally to you. We've only had time to touch on a couple of the many strengths, challenges, and coping strategies for URs. We have lots and lots more resources to help you learn how to become a healthier and happier R. If you take advantage of the resources we have, I will help you learn how to truly improve nearly every aspect of your life, relationships, and business without needing to change who you are. You are the secret ingredient to your success. And we have the information and tools to help you unlock the innate core potential you have. If you're ready to continue your journey to become a healthier and happier R, please join us for our next core training. In this hour-and-a-half training, you're going to come away with a much deeper understanding of yourself as you learn much more about the following things. First, the things you can and can't change about your personality. Second, your core motivators and exactly how those look in your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Third, the unique contributions that R's make to society. And fourth, you're also going to begin to look under the hood of the other core temperaments at what is unalterably different about how your brain works compared to other people. This information alone will permanently change the way that you parent and interact with your family and friends. The new knowledge, insight, and tools you acquire are going to dramatically clear up so many of the misunderstandings you have in your life and with other people. So click on the link below and join us for our next class.